Hello, this is part 1 of our shadow box project. In this video, we will be making the shadow box frame. A shadow box is different from a regular picture frame because it has more depth, so you can put multiple layers of images. In this case, people use shadow boxes to display paper art with a number of layers to create a beautiful landscape or scene. If you use vellum paper for the back or a more transparent paper, you can add a light source to the back and it kind of makes each layer glow and adds some shadows. To make the frame, you will only need cardstock of the same color. I am making mine all white along with each layer. I also don't have vellum paper for the back or clear acetate sheets to cover the front of the frame, but you can use parchment paper for the back and just leave the front open. My shadow box is 6 inches, so you need to make a 6-inch square in Silhouette Studio. Next, create 2 copies and put 2 of those squares off to the side. Then, create a 5-inch square and make sure it's right in the middle of one of the 3 6-inch squares. This will create a 1/2 inch border. Group it together and create 3 copies. You should have a total of 4 borders. This border will be placed on top of the frame we will create. Place those off to the side. Now we need to create the sides of the frame. Remember that the sides of this square is 6 inches, so we need to create a rectangle that has a height of 6 inches. To add multiple layers, you need to increase the depth of the shadow box. So I changed the width of this rectangle to 1.5 inches. This will create the outside of the frame. However, now we need to create the inside of the frame. Copy the rectangle and change the height to 5 inches. Zoom into this rectangle. We'll need to make a tab at the top. Draw a trapezoid. To make an even trapezoid, mirror your drawing. Place it on top of the first one. Make sure they are both filled in with color and weld together. You just need to adjust the width a little so it fits perfectly on top of the rectangle. Next, create a tab on the left side of the rectangle. Just repeat the steps. The tabs need to fit within the 1/2 inch border, so we will need to change the width. Change the width to 0.3 for both tabs. Create a copy and place on the right side of the rectangle. Now create copies so you can add the tabs to the smaller rectangle. Change the height. Next, create a dashed line that is 6 inches and place it on the top of the line that is on the left side of the rectangle. Copy the line and do the same to the right. This is where both the rectangle and the tab meet. Add those dashed lines to the smaller rectangle. Change the size to 5 inches. Now you'll need lines for the top of the rectangles. Make a horizontal dashed line that is 1.5 inches. Now that you have all the dashed lines, zoom into a rectangle. You'll do this next step for both. Select a tab and with your arrow key, move it one space towards the inside of the square. So here I press the left arrow key once. You'll notice that the dashed lines will now move towards the outside. Do the same to all of the tabs on both rectangles. Next, color in the rectangles. Select the rectangle and all 3 tabs and weld all 4 pieces together. Do the same to the smaller rectangle. Zoom into your design and make sure that the dashed lines are placed correctly. The dashed lines will need to fold over those tabs you created. Once that is fixed, group your dashed lines to the rectangle and tabs. Notice how these pieces fit perfectly. Since it's a square, we need to make copies. You should have 4 of the bigger rectangles and 4 of the smaller rectangles. And that's it for the overall shadow box frame. Join us in the next video where I show you how to create the inside layers and we put it all together.